there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we're going to make this custom plywood shoe holder. What you see here is a custom shoe holder that I designed, and I'm going to find out in a couple hours how it actually works. What you do is you just slide the shoes in like this here. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of shoes and some other boots and stuff down here. Now the advantage with plywood is that it's really easy to get, it's relatively cheap, and it actually is pretty strong material. Now for this project here, I custom designed the whole thing myself. So let me show you a 3D animation how this design comes together. Now after the model is tested virtually, it's time to actually physically make it. Now in the shop here, we have a lot of different CNC equipment that we can use. And a lot of customers ask, well, why do you use a laser over a router, over water jet, over plasma, or what have you, when it comes to making custom projects? It really comes down to materials more than anything else. This project here to cut out of using our CNC router would have been a lot faster than cutting out with the laser. The reason why I went with the laser is because I had the laser running from a couple of projects. I was already in front of it, so I might as well just throw some plywood into it and cut out this project. But this project it would look totally identical doing it with a router. I wouldn't do plywood with a water jet just because the sand and the grit gets stuck in the plies. So if I was going to make this out of, let's say, stainless steel, totally water jet or even plasma cutter would be perfect for this application here. So laser cutting all these parts out, you do end up with an issue with some smoke on the edges, just from the process itself. What a laser does is use high energy basically, it's a beam of light shooting down through the material and burns it through cutting it. And with the CNC router, you have a different issue where you have a spinning bit that cuts through the material. So everything is a plus and a minus. So let's just take a look at me laser cutting this model out. Now with all my projects, generally I show on the website and on these videos, it's just scrap material. So some of this material had a masking on it, some of it didn't. I didn't really care because my goal here was actually to paint it anyways. comes to putting plywood things together, there's a lot of ways and tips and tricks to do it. One is to have a really good design, and I think I made a really good design for this here. because a lot of this is friction fit, which means that if you have the wood, let's say here you have a slot and here you have another slot. If you have a lot of room, you don't have a lot of friction. But if you can sort of figure out how to get your design to have a lot of friction on it, it can almost hold together without using anything. And I've made a lot of models where basically just the friction of the material itself and the tolerances are so tight that everything just fits perfectly. In this case here, I could have used carpenter's glue, I could have used staples, I could have used nails. But what I decided to do is actually just use a glue gun. I haven't used a glue gun ever with a plywood project, and I figured, let's give it a try and see how it holds. And I was actually surprised at how well this holds. The only thing holding this whole model here is the friction fit and the glue gun. And it's astonishing to me. I never would have thought that it would be strong enough to hold something like this here. Now the true case for this, to see how long it lasts with the glue gun only applied throughout the model, is to see after a couple months if the glue dries and falls out, or what have you. So this is a good way for me to test out different adhesives, at the same time just get an idea of durability of those adhesives. And again, I'm just slotting shoes down here, so it's not a high stress environment, but there is some pushing and pulling that's going to be happening, putting shoes in, taking shoes out. Now I did screw up quite a bit on this model using the glue gun, because I've never actually used a glue gun for any application here in the shop before. One thing I found out was when I was spray painting it, glue guns really like spray paint. So you can see there's like a shiny little bit here. And if I was going to do this using just carpenter's glue, I wouldn't have as much shine as I do here. So again, it's just a learning process to find out what works, what doesn't work. And that's how you actually become good at designing something. And that's also how you become good at fabricating something across a lot of materials. You just keep playing around with stuff. So if you're looking for a custom design of whatever you want, contact me at CNCKing.com and we'll make it for you.